Good morning, y'all. I'm Tracy, and welcome back to Just Dig It Farms. Today we're going to be talking about one of my most favorite herbs, holy basil or Tulsi. This is one of the patches of holy basil or Tulsi in my garden. And this specific one, there's 4 different kinds, and this one is Ocimum tenuiflorum. Holy basil is super easy to grow. So I'm in central Alabama, zone 8B. And holy basil is an annual for us, but it will reseed itself pretty good. So you can see this little patch here is starting to go to flower. And on holy basil, you can use the aerial parts of the plant. So that would be the leaves, the flower, and the stems. The leaf is the best to harvest and use for tea, which is what I'm primarily doing with my holy basil. But the newly formed and growing flower heads are also really good for tea. When I'm harvesting it, I'm just grabbing a bunch and cutting it. I'm leaving about 1/3 of the plant. That way it can recover and continue to grow, and I should be able to get another harvest from this. I sprinkle holy basil all throughout my garden. I've got different patches all over the garden because it is also a wonderful plant, companion plant, and beneficial plant for the garden. The pollinators love it. Honeybees love basil, especially when you let it go to flower. Eventually, after I get a few more harvests from this, I will let it go to flower and seed for the pollinators and beneficials, but also to save some seed so that I can use those seeds to replant for next year. We got a nice big basket full of holy basil this morning. So right now we're going to head over here in the shade and we're going to talk about holy basil a little bit. It's a very interesting herb. There is a lot of wonderful information about it that I'd like to share with y'all today. And then we're going to head into the kitchen and preserve this holy basil and make some wonderful medicine with it. We're going to make a tincture. We're going to dry some for tea throughout the winter. And we're also going to make one of my herbal tea blends that I've been working on formulating for my own personal health. And I think that it might benefit many of you. This is more enjoyable. Now we're in the shade. It is another hot and humid day here in central Alabama. We partnered with Hoss Tools a couple of years ago. I think we're going on 3 years now, and created 2 medicinal herb seed collections. We have a deluxe and a premier, and holy basil is in the deluxe collection. Each collection has about 10 different seeds, and with the collections you get these awesome plant stakes, plus you get these informational cards. So holy basil is in the deluxe collection. I'll put a link in the description below if you would like to get one of those collections and start growing your own medicine. Holy basil is one of the most revered plants in Ayurvedic medicine. It is considered a very sacred and holy plant. It's native to India and it's naturalized in parts of Asia. And we grow it in a lot of areas here in the United States. It has many different names that it goes by, but there's also 4 different types of Tulsi or holy basil. So many of the common names would be holy basil, Tulsi, sacred basil, elixir of nature, queen of herbs, and it's also been referred to as Mother Nature of medicine. I refer to it as either holy basil or Tulsi, and usually I just call it holy basil. So there's also 4 different types of holy basil or Tulsi. And I have a few notes here because I can't remember all of this information. But there's Rama, which is Ocimum sanctum. And it has purple stems with green leaves and red purple flowers. That is a very common one that a lot of herbalists grow. There is Krishna or Ocimum tenuiflorum, which is what I'm growing and which is what is in the Deluxe Medicinal Herb Seed Collection through Halls. And it has the green leaves that will turn to like a purplish tint in color, and so will the flowers. It has a fruity flavor and it makes an excellent tea. The third one is Temperate Tulsi, which is Ocimum africanum. I'm sure I'm butchering that, but it is African basil. Now it's different than African blue basil. And this one has green leaves with purple flowers. It grows in a more compact shape. Also has a fruity flavor, excellent for teas. And the fourth is Vana Tulsi, which is Ocimum gratissimum. Sanctum means sacred, and Tulsi means beyond compare, because holy basil or Tulsi has an endless number of medicinal benefits. There are so many things that it can do for your body. In India and Hinduism and other countries and religions, they practice worshiping this plant, and it's a very sacred and holy plant, and it is a very valuable plant to have and to grow. But rather than worshiping the plant, I worship the one who created the plant. So I'm not worshiping my herbs. I'm not practicing any kind of spiritual or religious practices around my herbs. I consider herbs a gift from God the Father, from our Creator, the one that created this earth and all of the plants and herbs and seeds and vegetation and life. And I believe that He gave us these herbs to heal our body. Okay, let's talk about growing holy basil first of all. So you can grow your own holy basil. Now, if you don't have a big enough garden space, you can definitely grow it in some pots on your porch, on your deck, or you can grow it in some grow bags. You could grow it in one little raised bed. You can grow it in a GreenStalk. That is a wonderful way to grow holy basil. But if you cannot grow it yourself, you can purchase holy basil already dried and ready for use. I'll put a list in the description of where you can purchase already dried holy basil or Tulsi for use. If you do want to get your hands a little dirty and grow it yourself, you can purchase seeds from Hoss Tools. I suggest you go buy the whole deluxe collection because there's a lot of great herbs in there to start with. Or you can just buy an individual pack of holy basil Tulsi seeds. It is hardy in zones 10 through 11 as a perennial, but it can be grown in zones 4 through 10 as an annual. It needs at least 6 hours of full sun, well-drained, loamy soil. Keep it watered, keep it moist, but not too much water. It needs full sun, at least 6 hours of sun. A little afternoon shade would not hurt. It thrives in warm weather, 65 degrees to 90 degrees. I start my seeds every year in my greenhouse in February. I transplant them out around the end of March when it's warmed up to around 70 degrees or so. I like to wait till then because basil likes really warmer temperatures. It grows to about 2 to 3 feet high, depending on how much you harvest it, and about 2 feet or so wide. And remember, the more you harvest it and use it, the healthier the plant's going to be and the more it's going to produce. And of course, the honeybees and pollinators love holy basil. When harvesting holy basil and pretty much all of your herbs, you want to do it in the morning time when those volatile oils are the most pungent. So when the sun has come up, dried up the dew a little bit, and before the sun gets too intense. All of the aerial parts of the plants are used, so that would be your stems, your leaves, and your young flowers are the best. You can harvest holy basil when it has flowers on it, But usually the little young flowers, that's the best time to harvest your holy basil. And it will go to flower and seed very quickly. So you want to keep a check on it daily or weekly in your garden and harvest frequently. And one other note, holy basil is in the Lamiaceae family, which is the mint family. So if you're in those zones 10 and 11 and it's a perennial for you, it can spread pretty profusely over your garden. Now for us, it's an annual, so it's really not a problem for us in our garden. Holy basil will reseed itself pretty good, and you'll have some pop up all over your garden in different spots. But hey, in my opinion, that is never a bad thing. Let's talk about the medicinal benefits of Tulsi or holy basil. So it's been used for thousands of years in making medicine, in Ayurvedic medicine, because it is considered one of the most valuable herbs because it supports almost every system in our body. It's probably most well known as being an adaptogen herb. An adaptogen just helps your body to adapt to stress. So if you're overstimulated or if you're depressed, it just helps you to meet right there in the middle and to balance out your stress levels, to balance out your nervous system. It helps to reduce those cortisol levels. It helps with your adrenal functioning. It helps to increase energy if you're low, if you're fatigued, if you're exhausted. But it also helps to calm you down, like if you're anxious or you have super high anxiety or restlessness. Adaptogens are really cool herbs because they just kind of meet you where you're at and help to bring you in that center and balance you, bring your body and your system back to balance. So not only is it a great adaptogen herb, but it's also a nootropic herb. So it helps with brain function. It helps with cognitive function, concentration, focus, mental clarity, brain fog, memory. It increases the blood flow and circulation in your brain as well as through your body. It is also a carminative, which means it helps to soothe your digestion. It helps with constipation, gas, bloating, upset stomach, acid reflux. It is an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant. So an anti-inflammatory just helps to reduce inflammation and swelling and pain throughout your body. So inflammation can be all over your body, your muscles, your joints, your gut, your brain. I mean, inflammation can be all throughout your body, and it helps to soothe and eliminate inflammation throughout your body. When you consume holy basil consistently in your daily life, it can help to protect your body against free radicals, pollutants, toxins that we're surrounded by in our environment, in our foods, in our products that we put on our body. So it can really help to protect your body against some of those free radicals and toxins and pollutants. It also helps with your respiratory system. So if you, like me, have a chronic cough, sinusitis, any kind of respiratory issues, mucus in your lungs, in your chest, in your sinuses, it can help to break those up, loosen those up, and eliminate those from your body. It's also great to help build your immune system. So if your immune system has been compromised over time due to maybe taking too many antibiotics, or maybe just like me, I have an autoimmune disease and my immune system is very compromised. So I'm always looking for things to help to make my immune system stronger. Holy basil also helps to build your immune system up and make it stronger. It's also been known to help lower cholesterol, help to regulate those blood sugar levels. So if you have diabetes, this might be one that could help you. It's also been known to help regulate and lower blood pressure. And also in my extensive research that I have been doing, trying to figure out how to heal my body and heal myself, I have discovered that holy basil has been known to help regulate thyroid levels. If you've been around for a while, you know that I had Graves' disease, an autoimmune disorder, and thyroid eye disease, and I had my thyroid completely removed back in February. We tried to treat it with medicine. I tried to treat it with natural things and herbs and things, and I just could not get it under control. And I was very, very sick for a couple of years, and my eyes were getting worse. So I made a decision to let them go ahead and take my thyroid, and I started Tepeza infusions for my thyroid eye disease, which it has tremendously helped my eyes, y'all. You can go back and see some of my videos from last year, and my eyes were really bulging and really big, very painful, a lot of pressure. My eyesight was getting blurry, and to be able to start the Tepeza treatment, I had to have my thyroid levels under control. So that's why I decided to have the surgery, and then I started the Tepeza infusions a month after my surgery in March. I just completed my 6th infusion, and I have 2 more to go. And I will be so glad when it's over, because it does have some side effects that are not very fun. So that is another thing that I'm trying to maneuver through and look for herbs to help with all of the side effects from the Tepeza. I have to take levothyroxine for the rest of my life, so my endocrinologist says. And my last visit to him, he said that all of my levels are right. Everything is good and in balance. I don't feel like it is, though. I still am not feeling well. I'm still exhausted. I've had weight gain. I've gained like 27 pounds since my surgery, and I cannot get it off. I am exhausted. I have a brain fog. I have extreme muscle cramps and pain in my muscles and joints. I have vertigo and tinnitus or tinnitus. It's come back on me, and I'm struggling with that. And I have a lot of digestive and stomach issues. I went and had an endoscopy, and he said that I have lesions in my stomach lining and a little bit of bleeding in my stomach lining. So my gut is compromised, and I have a chronic cough. So I have a lot of different issues that I am trying to maneuver and figure out how to naturally heal myself. My endocrinologist explained to me that now that I no longer have a thyroid, I wouldn't be considered as having Graves' disease anymore, but I still have an autoimmune disorder or disease, and he said that I'll always have that now. That once you have it, you'll always have it. And having the thyroid removed doesn't cure the autoimmune disease. Doing the Tepeza infusions for my thyroid eye disease, which is an autoimmune disease, doesn't cure my autoimmune disease. So autoimmune disorders causes that it's just your body attacking itself. It's your immune system attacking itself, and it causes all kinds of issues in your body. And I'm doing a lot of research to try to figure out natural methods to help heal my body. Tulsi or holy basil is one of my top herbs that I am trying to incorporate into my life daily to help me find healing on my health journey. Because look at all of the medicinal benefits I just listed to y'all. Look at all of the different systems of your body that holy basil supports. I'm probably barely touching the surface of this remarkable herb and all that it has to offer us. But it is definitely one that I recommend that you do some more research on. Do your own research, first of all. I'm not a doctor, pharmacist. I'm not even a herbalist. I'm an herbal student. There's no real known contraindications to holy basil that I know of. I have read that it's not recommended that you take it if you're pregnant. But other than that, I haven't read that there's any contraindications of holy basil. But please do your own research. You know, if you're on a lot of different medications, talk to your doctor, talk to your healthcare provider. Don't just take my word or anybody else's word on the internet for it. Do your own research. Let's get inside and go preserve this holy basil that we picked together earlier. First thing I like to do is wash all of my herbs. So I just put them in a sink full of water, rinse them off really good, and then I spread them out on some tea towels and let them sit out and air dry for a little while. So the first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna start with making a holy basil tincture. So I've got my mason jar, and I'm just going to add my herb to the jar. And you could add the stems too if you wanted to. You could just take some herb scissors, kitchen scissors, and cut it up and add the stem, leaves, flowers, everything to the jar. I like to break them up a little bit. I don't really measure. I just use the folk method, so I'm gonna fill my jar up about halfway full of herbs. So I've done quite a few different videos on making a tincture with some different herbs. All a tincture is just your herb and your menstruum, which could be vodka, it could be vegetable glycerin, or it could be apple cider vinegar. And I like to use vodka because that's going to make your most potent medicine. If you have children or if you don't consume alcohol, then I would go with the apple cider vinegar or the vegetable glycerin. There we go. I've got my quart size mason jar a little more than half full. It's closer probably to 3/4 of the way full. And then I've got my vodka right here. So this is 80 proof vodka. And all I'm gonna do is just pour it over my herb. I don't have very much. My sweet Gene went to get me some more. So when he gets back, we will finish filling this up with vodka all the way to the top of our jar. And when you're making a tincture, you can use fresh herbs or you can use dried herbs. So we'll finish this tincture up when he gets back. I'm going to dehydrate pretty much all of the rest of the herbs, whatever will fit into my dehydrator. I'm just gonna put them on my trays here. If I see anything that looks bad, I'll go ahead and pull it off. But I've already kind of sorted through them already as I was washing them. I wish I had a freeze dryer because that would be my preferred way to preserve these herbs. But I don't have one yet. We have not invested in one yet. It's on our list of tools and equipment to get. They're kind of pricey and I haven't got one yet. So I'll use what I've got. So to preserve my herbs, I use my dehydrator. That's probably my #1 choice. I tie them up in bunches and I'll hang them up from a shelf that I have in there. I also have a little herb drying, oh shoot, I don't know what you call it. I'll show it to y'all. But I also dry herbs in there. And they're hanging all over my house to dry. So I just use all different kinds of methods to dry my herbs. If I had a freeze dryer, I'd definitely be using it too. Drying my herbs in the dehydrator, I put it on a very low setting. Mine will go down to 100. So when I'm doing my herbs, I usually put it on like 100 degrees. and let my herbs dry slowly. So I'm just going to be drying most of the herbs that you see here, either in my dehydrator or hang drying them. And I'll store them in mason jars to use throughout the winter in herbal teas. So Jean just got back with the vodka, and I'm just going to finish filling my jar all the way up to the top with vodka, making sure that my herbs are completely submerged in the vodka. Now we're just going to put on an airtight lid on our jar, shake it up really good. I'll store it in my dark pantry for 6 to 10 weeks. I'll give it a shake every day, and once it has completed infusion, I'll strain off the liquid from the herb and I'll bottle it up and keep it stored in a dark place. And then I'll have my tincture that will be good for 20 years or more. We're going to make a cup of herbal tea, and I've got my cute little tea mug here. Grow your own medicine, and on the side of it, it's got Just Dig It Farms. You can get these on our shop. They have these lids with it, which is awesome. And then I've got my tea strainer here. It's just an individual cup tea strainer. These are also on our shop, JUSTDIGITFARMS.com. The Farm Stand is the name of our shop. So I'm going to just put my tea strainer in my tea mug here. So I've got my kettle back here with water on the stove, getting the water to a boil in that. And I've got a couple of different herb ingredients here. I'm always experimenting with different herbal tea blends, and I'm trying to come up with one to help me with some of my health issues. So holy basil, we've talked about it extensively today, and this is my #1 herb here. And I'm going to just use a teaspoon. This is dried already. This is some I've already had dried. So I'm going to use a heaping teaspoon of holy basil. Dried herbs makes a stronger tea. Now, if you are using fresh herbs, then you want to use about 3 times the amount fresh as you do dried. So if I was using fresh holy basil, I would use 3 teaspoons of fresh holy basil. But I'm using dried, so I'm only going to use 1. And the reason for that is because your fresh herbs have more water content. Your dried is more concentrated. Okay, so we're going to use, I've got my little recipe here that I've come up with. I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of Tulsi, 1 teaspoon of lemon balm and lemon verbena. I mixed the two together in this jar. So this is lemon balm and lemon verbena. Looks like I'm predominantly going to be getting lemon balm. So I'm going to do 1 teaspoon of that. These are Cara navel oranges that I dehydrated in my dehydrator. And I'm just going to take half of a slice and crush it up in here, peel and all. Okay, and now I'm going to do 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder. I grew my own turmeric last year, harvested it up. So turmeric is from the root. This is from the rhizome root of turmeric. So I harvested the root and I ground it up. And I'm gonna just use 1/4 teaspoon of this turmeric powder. Turmeric is very, very good for inflammation and joint and muscle pain, inflammation, pain. Turmeric, it has a world of benefits to it as well. So does lemon balm, lemon verbena, so does orange. All of these herbs that I'm using today are excellent herbs with high medicinal properties. I'm not going to get into all of their properties because holy basil is the star of the show today, but we will talk about some of these herbs in later videos. Okay, so I've got my orange peel in there. I'm going to do, I want to put ginger root in it, but I'm out of ginger root. I thought I had a root in my refrigerator, but I do not. And I'm going to add a teaspoon of ashwagandha. Now this is ashwagandha root. It's the part of the plant that you primarily use, and this is powdered ashwagandha root, just like the turmeric is powdered turmeric root. And I'm going to use 1 teaspoon of powdered ashwagandha root. It is probably my second top herb that I'm using to help heal my body. And let me just tell you a couple of benefits of ashwagandha. It's an adaptogen, just like our holy basil. It reduces cortisol levels, lowers stress, improves sleep, improves energy levels, improves your cognitive functioning, your memory, that brain fog, concentration, focus, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, blood sugar regulator, thyroid support, and eases pain and inflammation and all kinds of joint and muscle pain and spasms. So that's why I'm choosing ashwagandha. We're going to dive a little deeper into ashwagandha a little bit later. I'm also going to add just a few cinnamon chips, just because I love cinnamon. And cinnamon is so good for you as well. So I'm just going to add a couple of cinnamon chips. Our water's boiling. It's ready. Curcumin is the active ingredient in turmeric. So whenever you're using turmeric, you always want to pair it with some black pepper. You always want to add a little black pepper. It helps to activate that curcumin in your turmeric. So I'm just going to add a pinch of black pepper. Now I'm just going to pour my boiling water over my herbs. So it'll be about 8 ounces of water, hot boiling water, so that it can steep. All of my herbs can steep in that water. Now you always want to put a lid over it so that all of that goodness, those volatile oils, don't escape and they stay within your tea mug. We're going to let this sit and steep for about 10 to 15 minutes. It's been 10 minutes, so I'm just going to take my tea strainer out of my cute little herbal tea mug here. And I'm going to add some of our Just Dig It Farms honey, which we also have on our shop, the farm stand. Because honey always makes everything taste better. And honey in itself is packed full of medicinal properties and benefits. Okay, let's see how this tastes. Not too bad. It's got a very earthy flavor to it. I think it needs something though. It needs a little something. Maybe the ginger would have added a little bit of a kick to it and made it taste, add what it needs. It needs something. It's missing something. It's actually not bad. Not bad for my first go. This is the first time I've concocted this herbal tea blend formula here. It's the first time I've tried it, and it's actually pretty good. I'm gonna keep working on it until I get it absolutely perfect, but not too bad to start with. Tulsi tea is really good when it's just Tulsi, lemon balm, lemon verbena, a little bit of orange or lemon, and honey, and maybe even a little bit of peppermint. Now that is a really delicious, simple herbal tea blend. You might want to try that versus adding the ashwagandha and the turmeric. But I've added that because I'm looking for all of those extra medicinal benefits for my tea blend. But either way, y'all please give Tulsi a try. Make you a cup of tea, see how you like it and enjoy it, and try to incorporate it into your life and into your body any way that you can. Thank y'all so much for joining me in the garden today and in my kitchen. God bless you, and I'll see y'all next week. Cheers.